I don't know how to address you all. Can I say friends?
Yes.
Any protocol problem?
No.
Okay. And there are sisters also. Brothers and sisters. No, sisters and brothers. Anyway, thank you all very much for this great opportunity. I have great respect for your organization, and I've had come here earlier too, in 2-3 occasions. Normally, I don't do extensive preparation, but today I have made some preparation and I've scribbled some notes also. So it will be like taking class. A speech is different from a lecture, you know. A speech is a speech, playing to the gallery. But a lecture is only the content, and it has to be delivered in a very formal way. So I've come with some preparation, and from this agenda I realize I'm given 30 minutes. And the topic you all know is Universal Brotherhood.
Yeah.
That is the topic. And let me straight away get into the topic. But I got to say about the good work you people are doing. My friend read out a report over the lot of service activities we are doing, and this hospital particularly is a landmark today in Coimbatore. And we have to remember with gratitude Sri K Devarajalu, whom I happen to know very well, who was the one who supported the whole thing in the initial stages. So with that I get into the topic. And about your organization, briefly he mentioned it. I'm told it is more than 350 years, a lot of time. And people like George Washington and King George VI, Swami Vivekananda, J.R.D. Tata, Motilal Nehru, Rajaji, Sir C.P. Ramasamy Iyer, they're all your members of the organization. So that speaks for your eminence. So I'm very happy to speak to you all today on a topic, as I told you, Universal Brotherhood. And I understand your motto is Fatherhood of God and Brotherhood of Man. Is it right?
Yes.
Yes. And the objectives are promote love, relief and truth. That's what we heard now. And this day, 24th June, is the Universal Brotherhood Day, isn't it? So every year you observe this day and invite somebody to talk about it. And by strange coincidence, the Ramakrishna Mission also celebrates September 11th as Universal Brotherhood Day, for the simple reason it was on that day, 1893, Swami Vivekananda spoke at Chicago on this very topic. So they observe September 11th as the Universal Brotherhood Day. It's nice to know that. Then, now to begin with, I got to ask you all one question. We can talk about Universal Brotherhood, but will we ever achieve it? Is it just rhetoric or reality? Is it just a topic to talk about and be done with it, or is it possible of being enacting it sometime or the other? In this troubled world, is Universal Brotherhood a reality? Is the question I want to pose before all of you. And friends, I did a little bit of a research to convince you all it is a reality. It's not rhetoric. If it were to be rhetoric, we don't have to be meeting and talking about it. It is possible. In our own little way, in our own little vicinity, we can, by sheer love and compassion, you can promote brotherhood, can't we? Yes. So let us be positive about it. Then, at the moment there are 3 wars going on, 3 wars. You might ask me, what is the United Nations doing? Virtually helpless. United Nations is virtually helpless, unable to do anything. The Security Council meets, and like some of our trade bodies, they pass resolutions, and that's all. They are unable to guarantee peace. The simple reason, the so-called brotherhood is no more there. That's the reality. But at the same time, I want to end up by saying, if we make up our mind, it is possible. The fact that the Berlin Wall is no more there. Who would have imagined that the Berlin Wall will collapse? Nobody would have thought of it. Who would have dreamt of a United Nations where the whole world could sit together and sort out the problems? But unfortunately, that organization is toothless because of the veto powers of the superpowers. But that apart, who would have imagined that? So what we thought was not possible is happening. Like that, I can cite any number of, imagine countries getting liberated from the colonial power, including ours. Who would have thought a man like Mahatma Gandhi will ever emerge and get freedom? A very unimpressive looking man, not a great orator or a writer, but by the power of truth and non-violence, he could liberate us. So why not we be hopeful for a change? So let us believe that this topic is not just rhetoric, but a reality. Then, you know what Swami Vivekananda said at Chicago? One sentence of Swami Vivekananda shook the world virtually. And I suppose you have read that famous Chicago address, hardly 6-7 minutes. Don't think Chicago address went on for a whole hour. For that matter, Vivekananda was to have spoken at 10 o'clock in the morning. Every time his name was called up, he wanted time. He wasn't confident. He was a young person. First time speaking in a platform, and straight away he has to address a global organization. So finally at 5 o'clock he ventured to speak. And there is a book, madam, by name Reminiscence of Vivekananda. I want you all to read that. A lady who was seated in the audience right beneath the podium recorded what she saw that day. How this young man walked up and how he stood and how he spoke and how he, in 6-7 minutes, became a global celebrity. And how he opened the speech, you all know. Sisters and Brothers of America. And it is recorded, the entire audience of 7,000 stood up and gave a standing ovation for 3 minutes. And Vivekananda was bewildered. He didn't know what's happening. He thought he can't make it, but to his surprise, in just that opening, he could capture the whole world. And I told you, one sentence that he uttered there became so very popular, all the newspapers the next day wrote only about that. And what is that one sentence? He said, I come from a land that has taught us not just to tolerate other religions, but to accept them all as true. This was the declaration of Vivekananda, and mind you, the entire audience was taken aback. Who is this young man? What kind of a country is that? How could they believe in this? India was the asylum for very many refugees, you know. So peace, harmony, goodwill, brotherhood, all these things, we don't have to take lessons from anywhere in the world. I had always felt, madam, the headquarters of United Nations ought to have been here in India, not there. Because we have told the world what peace is. So I thought I'll begin there. So now, what is the challenge? What is the challenge in promoting brotherhood? You know something, we are in conflict within ourselves. Doctor, have you realized that? You are in conflict within yourself. Go home tonight. Sit quietly and ask yourself, what is this man saying? Am I in conflict with myself? Yes, you are in conflict with yourself. You think of something, you speak something else, you do something else. So there is a huge conflict between every one of us. How to resolve that conflict? Leave alone resolving global issues. Then there is a conflict within at home. You'll all agree with me. Every man is running a coalition government, you know. Please tell Modi, nothing new. Dr. Ramakrishnan or anybody for that matter. And you are the home ministers, the ladies. So there is a conflict at home, conflict in the society, conflict in the nation, and conflict globally. So conflicts are bound to be there. See, two developed minds cannot get along well. There has to be conflicts. The only way to resolve is get to know each other. Okay, this is the reality. That is what we are doing now. So there is a conflict at all levels. The reason being absence of a little bit of love. If there is a little bit of love, give and take, a spirit of accommodation, everything could be resolved. And Swami Vivekananda again said, expansion is strength, contraction is death. Look at the powerful words. No matter that man is a hero all over. Expansion is strength and contraction is death. When you expand, it is a strength. You will be accommodative. You have no problem. You can resolve any dispute. But when you contract, when you become inclusive, no problem. But when you become exclusive, all the barriers show out. And you won't be able to resolve anything. Here, friends, I know of a Swami, you might have all heard, Swami Ranganananda. I don't know how many of you have heard of that name. You have heard, okay. He was the head of the Ramakrishna mission, and he passed away a few years back. I happen to know him. He has visited my house twice. And in one of his last interviews in the television, the question was, you renounced the world because you were not able to get along well at home. So you want to escape and run away. And the reply of the Swamiji was, to the contrary, I had enough and more love at home. I had lovable parents, kith and kin, neighborhood, all were good to me. But that time I thought for a moment, if within this little world I could get this much love, if I were to transcend this small territory and embrace the whole of humanity, how much more love I will get? So it's a question of expansion. As long as you are exclusive, you have problems. But when you are willing to embrace the whole of humanity, then there is absolutely no problem. You know the example of the great Mother Teresa. Born somewhere, came here, stayed here, became part of India. And when that lady died, I do not know how many of you know, that very carriage that carried the body of Mahatma Gandhi was flown to Calcutta for the funeral of Mother Teresa. So there had been people who are able to expand and transcend. Another, of course, I don't have to tell you, Mahatma Gandhi. I don't have to tell you all because he is the pride of our nation. In fact, once Obama as president, was coming to India, before he boarded the flight, one reporter went and asked Obama, "You are going to India, how is your feeling?" You know what the president said? "I am going to India not as the president of America, but as a pilgrim to the sacred land of Mahatma Gandhi." ஒரு தடவை தான் கை தட்டணும். அப்படித்தானே? See, you're violating. This is because there was an expansion within you. So you didn't count the number of times you clapped.
Your speech has made us to violate.
Maybe. I'm doing that's not fair, you know. So, and somebody went and asked Mahatma Gandhi, "Mahatma, you want peace or freedom? You want peace or freedom?" Is it audible?
Yes.
Hopefully. Peace or freedom. And Mahatma said, I want peace. Let the freedom come when it has to. And do you know something, friends? Because of Mahatma, the freedom got delayed by 7 years. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel were very angry because this old man refused to compromise, for whom means are more important than the ends. And the Britishers were in a haste to give it. But Mahatma said, if you are giving, give it at my terms. I will not compromise. So that was that man. Again, you know one thing he said. How many of you have seen Mahatma Gandhi's, Attenborough's Mahatma Gandhi? Kindly lift your hands. Good number of people. There you will come across this. You know what Mahatma said? Rivers of blood. Are you able to follow me? Rivers of blood may have to flow before we get freedom. But every drop of that blood has to be our blood and not the blood of the Englishman. This is too much. That's why he is Mahatma. But unfortunately, today he is being mocked and ridiculed. People like us feel very sorry for all that. We have created a memorial for Mahatma at Podanur. I told your friends the other day. A place where Mahatma stayed for in 1934 at Podanur. We have converted that into a memorial. Those of you who wish to have a look at it, kindly come over. The place where the man stayed. Many people have recorded in the visitors' book, we came and meditated and found the Gandhi in us. That was the power of that place, the vibration you experienced there. Another thing, the whole world was taken aback, you know. By Satyam, Dharmam and Ahimsa, he could liberate this country. And people to follow, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, all of them followed the Gandhi. Because it was something new to the whole world. How could a country liberate itself through non-violent methods? He did it. So brotherhood is not something you can't achieve. One among us rather, make up our mind to do it, we can do it. One recently in our lifetime, one Abdul Kalam, how he became an icon of the youth of India. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, the man was a superstar. I had known him. He had come to our college on 3 occasions. My goodness, the popularity of the man. Wasn't a very impressive looking man. He didn't look like a cinema star. What a great orator or a writer or anything for that matter. But for his commitment to the nation and his faith in the youth made him an icon. So friends, we don't have to be negative about it. My time is running out. And there is an organization here in Coimbatore. It belongs to the church, a Christian organization. And I was the chairman of the advisory council for a good number of years. Now I have retired. It is known as Divyodaya. Have any of you heard of it? Good. You know, their theme is bonds that unite us are stronger than the barriers that go to divide us. Get it? Bonds that unite us are stronger than the barriers that go to divide us. So the need of our friends is to promote peace. Let everything else wait. Your politics, your economics, your technological advancement, let every damn thing wait. Promote peace first. In your home, in your vicinity. You and I cannot ensure peace globally. In your little organization, in your hospital, in your hotel, anywhere for that matter. Make sure there is peace. Then everything will get sorted out. 2 major developments that happened in the 20th century. 2 major developments. I would say 3 even. 1, nations after nation liberated themselves from the colonial rule and tried out democracy, guaranteeing fundamental rights. That's one. The second one is the emergence of science and technology as a major power. Together, what was the outcome? Aspirations went up. Won't you agree?
Yes.
The affluence went up. Coimbatore, after the economic reforms of 1991 by Dr. Manmohan Singh, don't you see a difference? Everywhere you see, everything is getting changed. And 22 crore Indians have been lifted above the poverty line. Yes, a lot of good things are also happening. So, science and technology and democracy has increased the aspirations of people. Now, everybody wants everything and more of everything. That's the problem. In my days, when we go to a shop, there will be one or two soap choice.
Varieties.
Eh?
Yeah, choice varieties.
Now you have to ask those people there. Look at the guilty look they are giving. You are all against Mahatma Gandhi. If you go to a marriage house nowadays, is it a conference or a marriage? We don't know. Once when some foreigners came home, I showed a marriage album. He said, which conference is this? I told him, it's not a conference, it's a family wedding. So what is happening is, all luxuries are getting converted into necessities. Originally we had one black and white TV with only Doordarshan, with one movie once a week. And that movie also a very old one, black and white. Then slowly it became color. Then private channels came. Today, guess how many channels are there in India? Huh?
More than 1,000.
Yeah?
More than 1,000.
Could be. So that is the choice available. Because of this, friends, you might be wondering what has that got to do with brotherhood. I am coming to the point. Because of this, our wants multiplied. Our wants multiplied. And as a result of which, there is severe competition everywhere. Thanks to economic reforms of Manmohan Singh, we were growing at 3% GDP in 1991. Now, you might have read the finance minister saying it could be 7 or 8. So what happens? To that extent, there is money circulating. And therefore, the purchasing capacity has gone up. So what happens? Our lives have all changed. So we are chasing all the time, a mad chase of this so-called material advancement. When it is so, the peace within us is gone. Those days you were content with what you are getting. Today nobody is content with anything. And Mahatma said, you come there to Podanur, it will be written there. Simple living, high thinking. Elimiyana வாழ்வு, உயர்வான சிந்தனை. இப்போ என்ன இருக்கு தெரியுமா? மலிவான வாழ்வு, பகட்டான சிந்தனை. What the Mahatma said and what we are doing, I won't say you, what we are doing. Nothing is enough for anybody. So we are in a rat race as of now. So the inner peace and leisure that was there within us is no more there. So that is one thing. So now what is the solution? What is the solution? I can go on talking about the challenges, but there has to be a solution. Again, it is the same Swami Vivekananda has said. There's a famous speech of Swami Vivekananda, the synthesis of science and spirituality. That is the only solution. Because you cannot reverse anything. You come a long way. You cannot say, I want to reverse everything and go back to the Vedic days. That's not possible. But what to do then? There has to be a synthesis of science and spirituality. Science without spirituality, spirituality without science will do harm to humanity. So the Swamiji said, let us have both. But let us try to have a judicious blend of both for the advancement of humanity. Isn't that a wonderful solution? That's what we need to do. Because we cannot reverse anything. We have come a long way. So the only solution is, and if Vivekananda says you may not accept, Tony Blair has said this. Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister, has said, back to basics. We've been moving on and on and on, moving forward. But he said, take a pause, look back, contemplate, and ask yourself certain question. Have you gained a lot or lost a lot? By all this advancement and economic reforms, has mankind gained a lot or have lost a lot? The answer is, you and I have lost a lot. Look at the ecological imbalance. Where is the southwest monsoon? I am coming from Pollachi. The southwest monsoon used to be for 3 long months. We'll get fed up. So much of rain. Now even in Kerala there is no rain. And you saw the heavy downpour that happened in Tamil Nadu a few months back. All this cloud burst, climate change, global warming, all this is because of the greed in man. Go to Nilgiris, you are coming from there. Where is it blue anymore? Nilgiris is known as Blue Mountain. I as a child used to go to Ooty, Kunur. We had a house there. That Kunur is no more there. Now bisons, tigers and leopards are in our drawing rooms. Yes? Yes. The other day I saw in the WhatsApp one fellow reading newspaper, happily sitting, and there is a leopard standing before him. He didn't see it. It has been caught by the camera. Why is it happening? Should he not ask a question? Why? Because of the greed in man. That's why the Mahatma cautioned us, for heaven's sake, exercise a little more restraint. Go back to the basics and try to behave better before it becomes too late. Now already it has become too late. Now the heads of the states meet and talk about what? How to save planet Earth. How to save planet Earth. And I remember, friends, when President Bush was the president, there was a summit on this topic of save planet Earth somewhere in America. And our Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister at that time. He said he is not going because he is preoccupied with something here in India. And you know, President Bush called up Manmohan Singh and said, "Sir, please come. Because India alone has the solution. You come and speak." And Bush said, when Singh speaks, the world listens. The Singh speaks, world listens. Because Singh spoke rarely. When you speak less, you're heard better. If like me, if you go on speaking, your listening capacity goes down. I could make out. So I've come to the close of it. So now I want to wind up by saying, universal brotherhood is not a topic to debate and leave it. It is possible. It is. First you practice, that's what Mahatma said. You change and change everything. I don't want to change, but I want everything else to change. No change will happen. You change and change everything. So let that change come within us. How can it happen? You have the prayers, you have the yoga, you have the meditation. Our great gurus have taught so much. Today morning in Bharata Vidya Bhavan, one Swamiji came and spoke. You know what was the topic? What is Bharatya Vidya? What is Bharata Vidya? I asked the Swamiji, we tell it Bharata Vidya Bhavan for the last 90 years, started by Mahatma Gandhi's blessings. Today that Swamiji came and spoke. He said, Bharata Vidya is the Paravidya, not the Aparavidya. You may know everything around you, but if you don't know you, you have not known anything. Ella vittitume. Our schools don't tell you all that. They teach you the most modern science, this artificial intelligence. You don't have the native intelligence. Damn your artificial intelligence. Sir, I want your organization to show the way. Rotary. I see my former leader here, Governor in Nilingaya. Man with a loud voice, you know. Rotary also. You please recite the Rotary prayer. Closely resembles your prayer. So all big global organizations have all committed themselves to the global peace. And global peace has to come from within us. You can't ensure peace if you are not at peace with yourself. Mahatma was at peace with himself. So, in this little house, I wind up by, in this little house at Podanur where he stayed, the great Avanashalingam Chettiar told Mahatma Gandhi, Mahatma, you are getting old. You are traveling a lot. Kindly take care of your health. You know what was the reply of Mahatma? Don't worry, Avinashi. He used to call Avinash Chettiar as Avinashi. Avinashi, don't bother. I will not have a natural death. I will die either by the hangman or by the bullet of an assassin. I will not have a natural death. This he said a few years prior to the actual thing happening. Mahatma knew he is not going to die in a hospital, but in a different situation. So friends, I close by saying, we Indians and India has the message. Listen to this. Wisdom made her home here in India before she went out to any other parts of the world. Guess who said this? Wisdom made her home here in India before she went out to any other parts of the world. And when Mahatma Gandhi was shot, I wish he had known the message of Einstein. The great Einstein sent a message. When Mahatma was assassinated, you know what he said? Generations to come, people will scarce believe that one like this ever walked on this earth in flesh and blood. That was the statement of Einstein. So, with that, a mention was made. I was invited by Pope John Paul II. I went and spoke there. And my speech was recorded and published in the Vatican Journal. And he gave us a lunch. The Pope gave us a lunch. Only thing is, they eat for 2 hours. You got to be ready for that. And when I wanted to drape him with a shawl, like what you did, first they were somewhat hesitant because they are not used to it. But one cardinal took me to the Pope and introduced me like this. He said, Holy Father, let us allow him to do it because he represents 1/5 of humanity. That is an Indian. 2, he represents the world's perhaps the oldest civilization. And the third most important, he represents the world's largest working democracy. அங்கேயும் கூட கை தட்டினாங்க. போப் கை தட்டினார். ராமகிருஷ்ணனுக்கு தோணவே இல்லை. But maybe your rules doesn't permit you. We have to respect the rules. So, with this, finally, there is a few words. I don't know who is the author of this. Nobody knows. They say it is from China. It goes like this. Please listen to this carefully. This is the end of it. If there is righteousness at heart, there will be beauty in character. If there is beauty in character, there will be harmony at home. If there is harmony at home, there will be order in the nation. If there is order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. So saw that everything has to start from us. If we are at peace with ourselves, you can bring about peace all over. Mahatma Gandhi did it. He was at peace at the worst of the times. He never lost his balance. He was perfectly all right. He used to refer to every night he used to read the Gita. And the morning he had all the solutions. So friends, I close with this. Universal brotherhood is not a rhetoric but a reality. But each and every one of us should make up our mind to do it. Can we all from today onwards resolve to first find peace within ourselves? As I told you, either by a self-inquiry, by meditation or by yoga, you can get peace. Our great rishis have told us how to get peace. Let us make an attempt. Thank you, friends, for giving me this opportunity. My goodness. You are disturbing peace, I say.